Where to start with this? Oh boy. Well, I think at this point, everyone has either seen or heard of at least one Taken movie, so it would probably be unwise for me to just elaborate on the series, because I think everyone gets the idea. Basically, Liam Neeson just has to kill a whole bunch of people after one of his family members gets taken. Except this time, in Taken 3, Liam Neeson said the only way he would do the movie is if no one got taken. Crazy, right?
I wasn't interested in doing another Taken movie where someone gets kidnapped yet again.
Even though she gets taken and she gets taken. But this movie is actually about his ex-wife who gets murdered, and it looks like he did it. Except it doesn't at all, and we can get into that in a minute here. But Taken 3, the movie where his wife gets murdered and Liam Neeson has to clear his name. Let's just jump into it, I guess, and figure out why this movie was able to rake in as much money as it did, despite how awful it sucks.
I came to your office to collect my money. What a disappointment to see it's not here. But I'm leaving you something here in return. As a reminder.
You know how I can tell that this guy is a bad guy? Because he just saw an innocent bystander that did nothing wrong, for no reason at all. You'd think that maybe holding this guy's accountant hostage might be good leverage, but no, gotta make sure that the audience knows that this Russian cartoon character is a bad guy. So this horrifying thing happens, and then the movie just becomes a music video for nighttime LA. I don't know why, but it just does.
Help you see the snake baboon. Funky she can't smooth. Honey, can you spy the divine?
Hey, there he is, the big man himself, Bryon Mills. So I guess it's his daughter's ex-birthday, and I say ex-birthday because I don't know how old she is, and when Liam Neeson, Bryon Mills, is asked how old she is, he just does this.
How old?
He just flashes his photo like a police badge to the guy. You didn't answer his question. He still doesn't know how old she is, and this photo that you have of her doesn't even look like her anymore. What's happening? Already, I'm confused. So I guess his daughter is just pregnant now, and it doesn't matter to the film at all. I don't know why they wrote in this little side story of his daughter being pregnant, because it doesn't accomplish anything. She just hides it from her dad for most of the movie, and then just tells him. And that's it.
I'm pregnant.
What?
So now this big teddy bear takes this big teddy bear to his college-age daughter, and he also brings her a champagne bottle, which the movie oddly puts a ton of emphasis on. Like, he shows it, and it puts it in a close-up, and then he gingerly walks it over to the fridge and puts it in the fridge door, and then his daughter opens it up and sees it, and she's like, oh, he is a nice dad. And that's it. Why put so much emphasis on this random champagne bottle if it doesn't come back later? When a movie typically does this, putting random emphasis on an object or an item or some person, if it puts a lot of emphasis on something, it usually means that it's going to come back later. Just like in Screenwriting 101, you're taught to write in a gun in the first act that you'll use in the third act. You're supposed to set things up, and this bottle feels like it's a setup for later. But it isn't. That's just how it is. So anyway, his ex-wife calls, and Liam offers to have her come over for dinner, and she says no, but then she just comes anyway. And at this point in the movie, it's pretty obvious how awful the direction and cinematography is. Because this scene between Liam Neeson and Jean Grey should just be a scene with two people talking to each other about how they want to get back together or how they wish they could get back together, but it's edited and shot like an action scene.
The worst taste in men.
Thanks.
Oh. No, like you. Oh God, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Do you know what I fantasize about?
Like, there's tons of close-ups, there's zoom-ins, there's like shaky cam and handheld camera work, and it's just like this mess of frantic editing and frantic camera work and frantic pacing until the scene just is over. And it feels like every other scene in the movie because the entire movie is shot the exact same way. And I've talked about the language of film before, but this is a perfect example of what you should not do, because this is such a simple scene. All you have to do is have a master wide shot and 2 close-ups of each character, and then maybe push in on a couple shots. Have a couple like little slight push-ins, or maybe cut to an extra close-up. That's all the scene needs to be, is 3 shots, 2 close-ups and a wide. And it would be way more effective if you have precise editing and better direction and more stagnant, maybe not stagnant, but static cinematography of the scene. It would be a much more effective scene because it's simple. The scene is simple, and then if you shoot it simple, then the scene works better. But as it stands, it's just this like action scene where people are just chatting over a counter. What's the point of shooting a scene like this? It's gonna make every other scene feel the same. If you want a scene to have a certain impact on an audience, you need to shoot it, you need to stage it a certain way. And if you don't, then the scene's impact on the audience could be severely dampened because of that. You just gotta think. You just gotta think before you shoot. That's it. That's all you have to do. Just think a little bit. So some nonsense happens that doesn't matter. Then we see this bad man again, which means it's uh-oh time.
Lenny? 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 Jesus God, Lenny. Wake up. Come on, come on, come on! Lenny!
Freeze! Don't move! Step away from the knife! Get your hands up! Sir, back away now!
I didn't do this.
Get your hands up now! Slowly! Get your hands up!
You gotta listen to
On
me.
the floor now!
Listen to me.
Down on the floor! Down!
Listen to me.
Down on the ground now! On your knees! Now! Get your hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Higher! Higher!
I didn't do this.
Okay, let's break this down. We are to assume that this man that looks like he's taken 1 or 12 too many punches to the face would be able to mastermind this elaborate scheme that went on without a hitch. This movie basically says that this guy not only killed Liam Neeson's ex-wife in between the time he went out to get donuts, and while that was happening, called the cops so that they would get there around the time that Liam did. And he also planted the murder weapon on the floor, knowing that Liam would not only see it, but pick it up and keep it near him as he slapped his wife's wrist in a feeble attempt to revive her. And this man also knew that when the cops arrived, Liam would not just attack them, but he would also run away, making him look like the murderer, instead of just going with them and explaining the situation. As we, as the audience, are to assume that this guy right here planned all of this out, fully aware that all of this would come to pass. The only thing Liam would have to do to flush this whole plan down the toilet is to simply go with the cops and not assault anybody and explain the situation. And suddenly, this entire elaborate plan that the bad guys have set up would be completely down the drain. How stupid do you think I am, Luc Besson, writer of the film and also, ironically, writer of Valerian City of a Thousand Planets? Isn't it wonderful that he wrote both of these train wrecks? He's just a terrible writer. Just a terrible writer. But that's off track. How stupid do you think I am? It's at this point where we now get our first glimpse of the now infamous action sequences and editing style of the Taken series, specifically Taken 3.
He's heading west.
I mean, this is seriously bottom of the barrel stuff. Why do we need 16 cuts of Liam Neeson simply getting over a fence? Why do you need that?
Heading north, 42nd Street, back out.
I don't know if your tiny minds can comprehend what just happened, so let's break it down a little bit so that you laymen can know what just happened. You hear that gunshot sound? That means that even though you can barely see the gun in this shot, much less see a muzzle flash coming from the gun, this cop actually took a shot at Liam Neeson in this cut. Crazy, right? Just insane. It's such amazing filmmaking that you can barely see what happened. That's how good it is. It's so good that you can't even tell what just happened. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. So now we get our first look at Saul Guerrera playing Forrest Whitaker, the detective that's so good at his job, he eats the evidence. So there's a bunch of stupid scenes where Liam is one step ahead of the cops until, uh-oh, he's caught. This couldn't possibly be part of his plan, right? Oh, no, it just is. Whoa! 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 Oh my God! I'm gonna keep tipping over and killing people. You know, with just a few changes here and there, a few tweaks, if you will, this movie could be a legitimately hilarious, self-aware comedy. It's already so over the top and so unbelievable and has such terrible dialogue that it's pretty funny. But if you got a more charismatic lead, if you got a director that cared about the project, if you got a writer that cared a little bit more about the project, and a supporting cast that was a little bit more hammy, this movie could be hilarious. If it was more of a Crank type of movie, this could be legitimately entertaining and hilarious. But as it stands, it's not Crank.
1, 2, clear.
Nothing will ever be Crank.
Who are these guys?
What? Well, who are these guys? Ooh. I've never watched surveillance footage before. Who are these guys that are in this van? Ooh. This is gold. I'm telling you. This could be legitimately hilarious. This could be really funny if it wasn't so serious.
Don't hate me. I'm not responsible for what happened.
Oh, Stuart. Stuart is responsible for everything. You shouldn't give your hand away so easily, Stuart. I see everything, you know. I see it all. And you're the bad guy. I can see that.
Anything?
She's on campus. You want me to follow?
Is the bug active?
Okay, wait. I just assumed that this cop started tailing Liam Neeson's daughter because he wanted to, but now the movie's telling me that Saul Guerrera actually told the cop to follow her, even though he just said that following her would be a complete waste of time.
You want me to put a tail on him?
No, it's a waste of time. They'll waste my money. These guys could lose a tail if it was attached to a dog. We're done. Get the feet.
Oh, but good thing that you actually didn't go with your gut, because turns out the tail was actually successful and he almost caught Liam Neeson. I mean, either way, it wouldn't have mattered because Liam Neeson would have just gotten away regardless. I mean, he's basically a god at this point. I mean, let's forget about his car exploding in an elevator shaft with no escape and somehow he survived, and think about what just happened here. So Liam Neeson sets up this whole elaborate plan to see his daughter, instead of just saying, hey, come to my secret lair that I have underground that nobody knows about. He sets up this elaborate plan where he knows every detail of his daughter's habits, and he knows exactly what she's going to do in a very predictable way. So he sets up this little cup of yogurt, 4 back, because he knows his daughter will take the 4th one back, and he says, drink it now. So he knows that his daughter will find it before anybody else does, drink it right on the spot where she is, because he put something in there to make her nauseous.
Here, Kim, drink this. I put something on the yogurt to make you nauseous. This will take it away.
So he knows that she'll drink it, get nauseous in the middle of class, and then walk to a very specific bathroom where he will be waiting for her, where no one else will be, and he can grab her and take her into a stall and just talk to her and take her little button that's actually a bug off so that the cops won't hear him. And so he knows that all of this would happen and that his plan would go off without a hitch so that he could talk to his daughter instead of just taking her to his secret lair.
Don't worry. We will take care of this. Do as we planned.
Call the car.
Where are we going, boss?
The Malibu house.
Yup. Stewart's the bad guy. I knew it. I was right. So Liam just has this car now, and he's driving behind the bad guys when suddenly his car gets pushed off a cliff and it explodes 100,000 times. I mean, you're dead, right? He's just dead. There's no way you survive this. You don't survive this. You don't get away. You don't survive. How do you even get out of the car without people noticing it? You just don't. You're dead. You are dead. You don't get away. It's over. It's over. You're dead. The movie's over. Where's it gonna? Oh no. He's alive. He's alive without a scratch on him. How? I'm an idiot for thinking that he would be alive. Or, I mean, dead. So there's another atrocious action scene where this bad guy shoots himself in the face because he doesn't want to tell Liam Neeson some information.
The Russian killed himself.
And then he captures his ex-wife's new husband and waterboards him, where he tells him that he was able to escape from this car that exploded 100 times because he hid behind a rock. Were there rocks in this elevator shaft that you hid behind too? Or are we not going to explain that? Oh, we're not going to explain that one. Okay. Some more pointless stuff happens, and then our brilliant protagonists come up with an equally brilliant plan to just kill all the bad guys. Which they do. I knew it! I freaking called that! I knew Stewart was a bad guy. You can't fool me, movie. I see right through you. Oh, so now Liam's just gotta go kill Stewart too. Except he doesn't. I guess Liam draws the line at killing this guy as opposed to all of these guys that he just murdered.
With a good lawyer, you'll get out of jail in a few years. And then I'll come for you. I'll find you. And we both know what's gonna happen.
We're done.
What? No. No way. There's no logical reason for Saul Guerrera to let Liam Neeson off the hook here. Why would you do that? I thought Saul Guerrero was supposed to be this super straight edge, super smart, intelligent detective that gets results. And now he's just letting Liam Neeson walk. He assaulted police officers, destroyed public property, bombed a school, and obstructed justice, and every other federal crime possible. He does everything just shy of murder. Oh no, wait, he did that too. He did a lot of that. And no cop would go, hey, you know what, you destroyed some public property. Hey, you assaulted and probably killed a couple police officers. You did throw a bomb in a school. You obstructed justice and you murdered like 100 people, but it's all in good time. You didn't kill your wife. So, I mean, you're obviously innocent of all these other crimes too, just because you didn't kill your wife. No one would do that. That's insanity. That is insanity. Not only that, but how cool would it be for Taken 4 to be in a prison, right? And he has to take somebody out of prison. He has to take in someone from prison and escape. It'll be like Escape from Alcatraz, but with Liam Neeson killing everyone. So that's it. That's Taken 3. This is easily the worst Taken in the entire franchise, not including the TV series, which I haven't seen yet, but this is the worst. This movie is just dreadful. Everything it does wrong. The first movie I quite enjoy. The first Taken I think is a solid little action movie that's pretty entertaining and pretty exhilarating in a lot of ways. Taken 2 is not nearly as good, but it is super short, so it kind of justifies itself a little bit. But Taken 3 is over 90 minutes, and it's an atrocity. It's so bad. Everything it does is wrong. The direction and cinematography is just terrible, and every scene is shot exactly the same. Even just basic, simplistic dialogue scenes are shot like action, even though the action is shot like no action scene ever, because there are like 47 takes of one thing happening, and it's just impossible to see what is happening. And when you can see what's happening, it doesn't make any sense, because the screenplay by Luc Besson is atrocious and doesn't make any sense. Nothing in this movie works, because mainly I say, because it seems like no one cared. It seems like nobody cared about a third installment, and it's clear from the interviews with the cast and the crew that nobody really wanted to do this. Everyone just seemed like they wanted to just collect a paycheck and leave. Nobody cared, nobody really tried. Liam Neeson can barely walk, let alone run. It's so disheartening almost to see Liam Neeson just so tired. He seems like he has no interest in this movie whatsoever. He barely runs, he barely does his stunts, and he barely can even deliver lines. He's just tired. All the rest of the cast and crew seems tired, and the movie really suffers from this. I think that is the biggest fault of this movie, is that no one put any care or effort in. It just is the most simplistic, dull, lifeless Hollywood product I have ever seen. Yeah, all right. That's it. That's it. We're done. Let's all go. Everyone go home. Everyone just go home. We're done here. What? I'm alone in a room talking to nobody? Well, what do you know? I could be in a room talking to tons of people. They don't know. You don't gotta say that. I'm not... Okay, bye.